thank you so much for joining me today. I'm in my cozy, warm dressing gown because it's morning early still, and I wanted to do this colouring before the light goes funny here. So I'm doing part 2 in this gorgeous little big, beautiful Fluffy Girls by Sherri Baldy book. If you haven't watched part 1, I'll put a link to it beneath this video. I used excuse me. I used Ohuhu alcohol markers as a base coat, and now I'm going to do some detailing on top of this, and that's going to be part 2. I see I've made a mess here. I'm not quite sure what it is. Hopefully I'll be able to cover it once I do the background. I did ask for people to comment, and I think it's Sandy now, sorry, my brain has gone blank, commented very kindly that she doesn't mind either distress inks or gel crayons. I'd like to know from others what you would prefer. I'm going to be using this old set of Arteza 72 colour pencils. I got these when the Artezas had just come out, and I've not used them very much, so I thought I would show them some love, which is basically my theme for the year of using art supplies that I have and trying to show them all a bit of love. So we put some out, so I've got the colours all available. I know I should maybe put them into a pencil case, but I actually quite like my tin. I think I'm going to start at the top with the hair, and I'm using, this is turmeric A077, and I must be honest, if you're wanting to colour along with me, I don't know if Arteza kept the same colour names or anything, so I'm really not sure. I'm using a kind of a flicking motion here. Whoopsie, where's my little brush? So I just want to add some depth to her blonde hair. To flick up from the other side here, trying to keep in the shape that the artist has given us of these gorgeous swirls of hair. So how is everyone? How have you all been? It's Monday today that I'm recording this, and I have to record a pupil's exam later today, so I need to get all my ducks in a row for it. There's always a lot of, as all of you know, with artists and copyright and things like that, the same applies to sheet music. So I've got to, I buy original copies, but you all know my problem living in South Africa and postage, etc. So I buy many of my stuff digitally. So I always, just to be on the safe side so that nothing gets disqualified, like to show the receipt of my purchase in the exam, or I've bought digital books and I like to be able to show the receipt in the purchase. I've got to get all my ducks in a row and get everything organized just now. and then make sure my sitting room's all fine. I've been charging batteries of, you know, those battery things that you can put a USB port into for my ring light and things like that. So I've got to get all of that organized just now. I have one of my grandchildren here today, Daniel. He's featured on this channel before, and I thought he's going to be spending the week with us, so I thought maybe he can help me later in the week when I do a collage, which he's never done before, so maybe he can sit with me and we can try and do it together. That should be fun to watch. So you can see how this kind of helps make it look a bit brighter, and my process is to leave these like round bits more pale so that they give the impression of the light shining. And I like when I'm doing hair to use this flicking motion because it just helps to lift the pencil up so you don't get a straight stripe, as it were. So I'm going to complete the rest of this hair off camera and then let you see what it looks like, and then I'll come back to the face. So I've finished all of that with the turmeric, and now I'm using a bit of burnt ochre, A113, just to do a few little bits here and there in the darker places to add some interest to the blonde hair. So I want to go a few bits here and there, and just flicky. Just adds a bit of depth. Put that down so I don't get my hand cream on everything. I love these big fluffy girls and really want to colour some more of them. I was thinking of maybe doing a colour along. Perhaps I'll put a question in my community tab and see if anyone would be interested, or doing a hashtag. Maybe a hashtag's a better idea. I'm not sure. We shall see. How many of you actually go and look for the hashtags to give yourself some inspiration for the month? I love the idea, but I'm not great at planning, so I prefer to kind of decide, oh, I want to colour, what should I colour now? That's more my style. I'd love to know what you're like. Put some in there. So I've just added little bits here and there just to add a bit of depth. Maybe next to her face here. Some down here. a little perhaps at the end, although strangely enough at the ends usually our hair is the very fairest, but just for the sake of colouring to add some depth. And now I want to find just a very pale colour. I think I'll use, I had wanted a cream, but I haven't got cream, so I'm using ivory. And I'm just going to go over everything, just lightly holding the pencil near the back and just going over everything just to sort of fill it in and hopefully blend out little bits. I don't want to kind of work with a heavy hand like as if I'm burnishing. I'm just going lightly because I don't need to burnish because of the first layer with the alcohol markers. So most of the white of the paper has already got colour on it. But this does just help a little bitty. There we are, and now the side. I'm busy reading an old Nora Roberts book that I'm so enjoying. Do any of you read Nora Roberts? Something feels as if there's a... I felt as if there was something underneath the page here. Don't know what that is. I can still feel it, but I can't see anything there or find it. So maybe it was a piece of wax or something off one of the pencils. I've gone down into the burnishing position because I wasn't getting the amount of colour I wanted. Funny how one does that without even really realising. Okay, I'm quite happy with the hair. Now I'm going on to the face and almost feel like grabbing my Prismacolors because I can see what colour that would be in Prismacolor, but I wanted to use these pencils. So I'm going to maybe go back to the, I'll go one darker than the burnt ochre and use cinnamon. Very lightly, Elizabeth. Just bring that out a bit from there so that I can get a better blend. I wanted to do a colour along of, I belong to a colouring group called Colouring Book Colour Along, Facebook group. I'm one of the admin on it, and I've agreed to do a colour along, which is like a buddy colour with somebody on a Christine Karen image. And I was browsing YouTube to see if I could find a tutorial because I felt like following somebody else. And I happened upon this one channel. I can't remember whose channel it was, else I would mention them here. I'll go into my history actually and link the channel somewhere in the info. And this lady was doing such an interesting colour along, which reminded me in a way of my efforts with the wax crayons on a different image. But she was doing it just with colour pencils, no base coat, just colour pencils. But she was using inexpensive Pelican colour pencils and using the same sorts of colours that I did with my wax crayons, like the greens and purples and things like that. I don't think I'm going to follow that particular colour along because I feel like I'm still looking for something for the one that I want. Yeah, the one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But it was so nice to watch her. I feel like doing something that's maybe with Prismacolors and easy. Not something too clever, if I can put it like that. So I'm just basically blending out here very lightly with this colour. What did I say it was? Cinnamon. And it's actually quite a great colour match. And I had thought to go to a peach, but not quite sure. Whenever I say sure, my head is full of music. It's been that way for years. And I was often, Christmas time, when I worked professionally in the opera, we used to always put on an opera, the very short opera called Amal and the Night Visitors. And I understudied the mother in the show, twice actually. I was always very terrified that the woman that did it would get ill because I never felt ready for the role myself, I must be honest. But luckily she always remained healthy. But so I used to practice, and the mother would sing, "Are you sure, sure, sure?" And Amal would sing, "I'm sure." So whenever I say, "Are you sure?" or "I'm not sure," I always think, "Are you sure, sure, sure?" So funny how this music stays in one's head. Okay, so now that was cinnamon. Now I want to go to the peaches. Yikes. Going to try this, which is apricot, vivid orange, and then go straight to peaches and cream. Let's just go a bit with that. Gonna be like this lady has caught the sun. Another song that's stuck in my head is a song from Heathers the musical. The song's called Lifeboat. Full of people I know, the tiniest lifeboat. Full of people I know, everyone's fighting, everyone's... I just want to go into my big belt. Everyone's fighting. The head that's full of music. But I'm not quite sure what this is going to look like. I think it's all right, probably once she's got some red lips. I miss her eyes. You know what's wrong? I'll sort that out now. Is that I have sort of ignored the existence of a nose on her face. Sorry, big fluffy girl, you do have a nose. I see it there. I need to do some shaping there. And with the peaches and cream, you're a sun-kissed wonder. Do you guys, most of you, own the bigger sets of Arteza now? I never bought them because, as you can see, I've got a lot of life in these, and so I didn't sort of feel the need. When I buy pencils, I either want like something I've not tried at all, Or I would buy new Prismacolors or polychromas that have kind of run out on my list. I would never have thought of really using this color, apricot, on her skin, but I quite like it on her because she does look sun-kissed. I'm using quite a heavy pressure here. Mustn't go too heavy too soon, or we flatten the juice of the pepper. Yikety yikes. Already the sun's coming up in this room. I found lately that it's been quite difficult to make videos in this room because the sun shines through and kind of makes it so hot. And even though we're midwinter, it's sort of hot, and then it makes streaks on my page of sunlight. I was thinking I might need to move my desk. No, that looks like she has a skin complaint now. Come back with the... Maybe come in with a bit of burnt ochre here on her legs. She's been tanning, baby. So Daniel, I'm busy recording. You can...
I'm just coming to be on the roof for a bit.
There, I think that looks okay. Going to take this burnt ochre over here as well. So now, let me just see. This is her nose. Over there. So I want to... I'm going to take a slightly darker color. I don't think I should. Make this look better, and I was trying to sort of decide what to do here, and I think I need to bring this darker color, the burnt ochre, down here. It's sort of weird for me with the closed eye. I find it it puts me off my stride or something. And I wanted to sort of, I'll get the nose shading just now, and then I'll give, I think if that's sort of a highlight on the cheek, make that sideways and do this dark color. So she's much more tanned. is looking a bit better. I didn't intend to do quite so many layers. You know what? I'm not doing a highlight on the cheek at all because I'm not getting the shape right. So I'm going to fill the whole thing in. So this is more than detailing. This is actually colouring the whole thing in. But so be it. I'll leave that highlight there. These pencils almost sort of skim across the top of the paper once the alcohol ink is down there. And then with a slightly darker colour, which was the cinnamon, I'm just going to do the outsides a little bit more, just under the eye as well, because that would be a shadow. I'm sorry, my nose is a little bit stuffy today. There we are. I think that's kind of okay. I hope so. I think that's what I'm doing there. And then I want to just highlight a little bit, not highlight, detail or add. Not quite sure which colour I want to use here. Probably that one more than this one. This is very close to what the colour of the top is. I've got this over 2 pages. So I'm going to use this one, which is Fuchsia A014. And here I'm definitely only going to do sort of little bits that would be shadows. I think I'm also going to do her lips in this colour. I want to do along the edges of the t-shirt. And in the shadows there of her boobies. Maybe I'll do just underneath this. Are any of you guys, have you already, or did you watch Bridgerton season 3? We're busy, season 3 is busy sort of streaming at the moment. So my husband and I actually then just rewatched the whole thing from the beginning again, and it was so lovely watching. I love binge watching things, so it was really nice watching season 1 and 2 again. It's amazing to me just how much I forget. I love sort of period pieces, but I think what I really like about Bridgerton is the way they've kind of it's a period piece, but they've made it modern. And I love the, like the music they used. I mean, they're using Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball. There's one, da 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 da, but done in a classical style. And there's a lot of kind of pop music done in a classical style. And I love the way they do the music in the show. Just really think it's so clever. So I'm just going to go over that again with this colour and bring it out a little bit more. Sort of try and blend it into the colour that I used on with the alcohol markers. There we are. And then I think I'm going to use this colour along the top. My head is not sticking into the video. Let's do her lips. So I'm also using Peony, which is A026, with Plum, A081 on the lips. I'm just going to use the white on top of that. And then do another layer. And leave it more pale in the middle. I think I'm just going to use white here. This is the plum colour. I'm just going to close the door because I think my grandson's chatting so loudly. There we are. I'm not sure if you could hear that or not. Actually, I prefer this other colour, which was the fuchsia. So wait, I better do the same around the top here so that they're matchy. And I'm going to go over them with the fuchsia. Da 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 da, wrecking ball. Gosh, he's talking loudly. I hope it's not disturbing you. that there. Do any of you still have phone chats with people, or do you do everything on like WhatsApp or whichever your messenger service that you use the most? Do you do more kind of that sort of chat, or do you actually ever chat anymore on a phone? I was wondering the other day because I still like phone friends of mine occasionally, but very seldom. And I mean, when I was a teenager, my goodness, I used to spend literally hours on the phone. See, now I'm going over this whole thing again because somehow I don't like the way it looks. This is now with a peony. Just going to do it very lightly. So one doesn't have to do quite as many layers as you would without the alcohol marker first. But I do like to kind of get a little bit of depth going. And I'm going to leave the blue pants as they are. Sort of flat. I think I'll just put a shadow along there. This looks a bit messy to me, so I'm going to use... I don't feel like doing thousands of layers. And I've got a cotton bud here and my Zest It. And I'm just going to go over what I've done to smooth it out. And it seems to be fine to use this on top of where you've had alcohol marker underneath the wax crown. It won't do anything to the alcohol marker, but it does smooth out the wax of the pencil so that the whole thing blends together a bit more smoothly and you don't get all those pencil lines showing then. At least that's the general hope. So we'll let that dry and hope for the best. Jack Reacher, plan for the worst, hope for the best. Now, we want some coffee in there. It's going to be a nice, that's garnet, and this is cocoa. Let's make it cocoa, and it can be either hot chocolate that she's having or dark coffee. Do any of you guys watch Rocky Kanaka? I'm sure I've spoken about him before. It's an American guy that does a program on YouTube called Sitting with Dogs. And he does so much with these rescue dogs and things. Absolutely love it. There was one with this German Shepherd Sham that's been in the shelter for a year. And honestly and truly, I felt like booking a ticket to California and making arrangements to get that doggy here and looking after it myself. I mean, obviously it's entirely impractical and I can't afford it anyway. But, oh, my heart bleeds. I have this special, like, when I see a German Shepherd, I just love them. They are my dogs. I just love them. They're the most awesome dogs there are. Now I'm using some indigo, just very lightly. There and there. A little bit inside there, a little bit inside there. Didn't mean to go on her leg, but... And just a little bit in the shadow that would be caused by that. There we are. Now I'm going to actually get my gel pens because I'm going to do that, and that in gel pen. So I'll be with you in a second. So I have this Moonlight, one of the Moonlight. I'm just trying to see if it's got a name, but I can't see a name anyway, because I know there are a number of Moonlight pens, and I'm going to use this blue, which I like. This is a matte jelly roll, and I like it because it's got the big size 10 nib, so the ink flows out of it beautifully. And I don't want the coffee mug to be shiny. I want that to be matte. I just was getting tired of these pencils because they're not doing very well on this paper. So I thought to ease my burden, I would use the gel pens, which I love. So I'm trying to organize my channel so that Mondays are coloring videos, Wednesdays are watercolor, and Fridays are glue booking. So I hope that I can manage to keep that up. And I hope that that makes sense. Otherwise, I'm going to maybe remove one of the components from my channel and open a separate channel for it, like either the glue booking or the watercolor. Not quite sure. I think most of you that watch are here for the coloring. I would love to hear from you and know what you actually enjoy watching, if you come specifically for the coloring or if you enjoy the watercolors. I, of course, don't have to YouTube my watercoloring. I just thought I would share it. So there's the mug. I'll let that dry. And then I'm going to go with a shiny gold, I think, earring or silver. I've got a nice silver. I think I've finished my gold. Also got a shiny pink. I think she's maybe got enough pink on her. Got two different silvers here. Just check that this is silver. Yeah, I'm going to go with the silver. and do the bracelets also in silver. And then I'll do the background in the next video. There we are. That's done. And then one more thing I'm going to add that will have to dry before I start the background, and that is I'm going to use this glossy accents on the top of the coffee. So what I normally do with glossy accents is that I get it started and then I don't lift up. I don't take my pressure off until I'm finished so that I don't get air bubbles. So like now I want to go over here, I'm lifting it up, but I've not taken the pressure off. Taken the pressure off now because I don't want more to come out. I've got enough there. I'm just spreading it. And that should dry nice and shiny. There's an air bubble. Go away, air bubble. There we are. So hopefully that dries nice and shiny. And then this looks good. And I'll be back in the next video to do the background. So I want to thank you so much for watching and spending time with me. Let me know what you think. I actually, just looking at this before I end, I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to use this brown side and just smooth over the face, which looks a bit uneven. Must be sure not to get my fingers into the glossy accents. Just want that all smoothed out. There, that looks better. Okie dokie. So we're done, and thank you so much for watching. Please remember to click that like button. It really helps me. And leave me a comment if you'd like to. I love reading them, and I do respond to each and every comment. Have a great and creative day and week. Bye-bye now.